On the assumption that Rashi does not waste words in his commentary to a particular text, nor is he a compendium of various midrashic sources, when we come across a situation where Rashi offers two options in response to a particular textual anomaly, we will invoke what I have termed as the multiple options rule. There are three parts to this rule. One is the identification of the shortcomings of option 1, for which there is an option 2. Similarly, the shortcomings of an option 2, for which there is an option 1. Option 2 responds to the difficulty raised by option 1. Option 1 responds to the difficulty raised by option 2. And between the two options, the textual anomalies are resolved. The third part to the multiple options rule is attempting to find the reason that Rashi has in placing option 1 first, and by doing so, he makes a value judgment that this option is more faithful to the Pshuta Shel Mikra of the text. In response to the difficulty of Ani Hashem Elokechem, Rashi has given us two options. One, it is a request that Bnei Yisrael accept the mitzvot of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and a second option, that it comes as a warning for events that were to take place 963 years later in the days of Ezra, dealing specifically over the violation of the Arayot laws. The first of the three parts to question 5 is to identify the shortcoming inherent in option 1, for which there is a response forthcoming in option 2. Secondly, an identification of the shortcoming of option 2, for which there is a response if we adopt option 1. And part 3, the advantage from the standpoint of Pshuta Shel Mikra that option 1 has, the request, over option 2, the warning. Another rule with respect to understanding the commentaries provided by Rashi involves the quoting of sources. Generally, when Rashi offers an interpretation, even when that interpretation is lifted from the Medrash, he does not quote the author. The flow-on of this rule is that when the author of a particular opinion is quoted, we must assume that it is relevant to the understanding of the information that Rashi is providing. Of the two options, the first option is anonymous. However, in quoting the second option, Rashi writes, Rebbe Omer. Question 6 will seek to identify the need of Rashi to insert the author of this opinion into his commentary. Question 7 will be a terminology question, in that the term used when referring to a violation of Torah law is la'avor or lichshol. Yet here, in his presentation of option 2, Rashi uses the term linatek ba'arayot, with the shoresh of nun taf kuf to be drawn away from, to be cut off from, a shoresh that is generally not used elsewhere in the Chamisha Chumshei Torah. So question 7 looks at the change in terminology with respect to the Arayot violations in the days of Ezra, that they would be linatek ba'arayot.